Welcome to Potentials. In this episode, we meet Andrew Hudson, a humble steward of the land whose work at Covenant Mennonite Community Church invites people to reconnect with earth through sacred gardening and simple acts of care. We begin with a quiet prayer, the kind spoken before hands touch soil, a moment to center, give thanks, and remember our place in the living web of life. This conversation is a reminder that healing begins with intention and grows through every seed we plant in love. Let's begin.
We're into the garden here. I'll tell you more about the different sections, but I just want to get out where things are growing. I'm a living thing. These are living things. There's living things in the soil. And we give thanks for the earth. We give thanks for our part in the earth. We have a gift from the earth of tobacco, a little bit of tobacco, which is a lot of indigenous groups do. And so we return that to the earth. And at the same time, we lament the crucifixion of the earth. And so we make the sign of the cross with our gift. And we proclaim life, death, and resurrection. Amen. So this garden has 7 sections to it, and that's in reference to several places in the Bible where it says to let the land rest every 7 years. We in urban spaces aren't in a position to really let a garden rest for a whole year. And so what we have is 7 sections, and we're letting one of the 7 sections rest every year. So over 7 years, the whole thing will have some rest. And then once we have it into 7 sections, we can do different things with that simple structure. So what we have right now is right in here, we have 3 sections. Yeah, if you step back a little bit, you can see the 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. I'm standing between sections 2 and 3. And we have cowpeas putting fertility into the ground. And then sections 4 and 5 are where we mowed down the cowpea and we're tarping it. And so this is a no-till method to improve the soil and get it ready to plant. And then you can see sections 6 and 7 down at the end. They are ready to plant. So we'll be planting those. I'll be starting that after our interview today. And so this is part of a general rotation where we let things rest and we plant them out. And it's a great partnership with the earth to do no-till. So we are not tilling up the ecosystems under the ground. There are just massive ecosystems of living things under the ground. And if we don't till them up, then they partner with the plants. And so that's one of several things we're trying to do here is demonstrate no-till gardening for Florida, because it's hardly ever done in Florida. And so we're trying to take this technology that I learned in places like Indiana and Michigan and Oregon and adapt it for here. But the primary thing we're doing with this gardening is to do it with a sense of the sacred. So we always start with prayer, and we're always open to learning things from the garden. So we're trying to not be really fast about this. We're not ambitious about how much we're going to produce. We're being countercultural that way. And I'm really thankful to the church for letting me have this space so that I don't have the pressure to produce and I can try these things.
Awesome. Okay, so I have the normal questions that I'm sure everybody is wondering. How did you get started doing this?
I've always been interested in farming and gardening, especially regenerative farming. And the first 5 years, 8 years, I was something like that. I was in Sarasota. I became friends with Bill Pisher, who's the owner of Jessica's Organic Farm. And then the housing, I was in remodeling, and the housing bubble burst in 2007. You remember that?
Yeah.
And a mutual friend said, well, you don't have anything going on. Why don't you work for Bill? And so for a couple of years, I just worked for my friend, thinking that I was just doing that until I got back to what I was really going to be doing.
Right.
You know how life goes.
Yep.
And I remember the third off season thinking, oh, I'm working for my friend, but he's also a master at what he does. I might as well actually learn it. And that taps into, I have family doing regenerative ag, but I had just never thought of doing it. And once I got into it, I just dove in, I started reading, and especially what I mentioned about the underground ecosystem. I just became really fascinated by the fact that there's something like 5 billion microbes per teaspoon of soil. A teaspoon of soil can have as many living things as all the living people on Earth.
Yes.
1 teaspoon.
Wow.
And so there is this mega community going on, and we have the potential to partner with it. But our normal agriculture right now is extremely violent. Instead of partnering with that underground ecosystem, we puree it. We stick it in a blender, and we force feed it fertilizer from out of state. There are all these things that once you really think about them, you're like, oh, that's insane.
Yes.
And that's one of my favorite authors is Derek Jensen, great anarchist thinker. And he has a book called Strangely Like War, describing in great detail how the way we do agriculture is very, very similar to war.
Wow.
Including like the way we make fertilizer is actually very similar to how we make bombs.
Wow.
Yeah. So nonviolence, which is what Mennonites are about, that's a big part of why I'm Mennonite, is peacemaking.
Yes.
So this is a peacemaking activity. And that's like at its core what really grabs my heart. And I think it fulfills, for those, I'm sure some of your viewers, listeners know Bill and know Jessica's. And I think this also fulfills a lot of what I've learned from Bill. So I want to just give credit there.
Yes, thank you for doing that. And for those of you who don't know about Jessica's Organic Farm, I have shared it a little bit on my Facebook. I should probably do it a little bit more on my YouTube, which I am now with this, and also on my Patreon, because it's a local organic farm in Sarasota. And it's just an amazing place to get natural, organic, homegrown foods, like just real alive food that's alive. And that's what I want to put in my body. So, there's fruits and vegetables, and people come in with their honey and sell their honey there, and all kinds of other things like that. There's mushrooms and turmeric and ginger and all kinds of good stuff. And then I buy my raw milk. And, for those of you who are vegan, don't do that. That's fine. But for me, I love my raw milk and eggs. There's farm fresh eggs and all the dairy stuff that doesn't have chemicals in it, which is so important because the stuff that you buy in the grocery store is so toxic and poisonous. So like I like to have stuff that doesn't have poison in it. So that's why I shop there. So it's an outdoor place with a shelter, but it's really outdoors, and it feels like you've stepped back in time. I love it. The way it used to be and the way it should still be, just buying from local organic farmers. So anyway, that's my ad. That's my ad for today. Just a shout out to Jessica's Organic Farm and Bill, who is the one who basically was his brainchild and who runs it still to this day. I saw him out in the fields, like sitting in the dirt, weeding, and he's still doing it. So, it's really inspiring to see that kind of things happening and still happening, and that we are going to continue to propagate it. No pun intended, but kind of pun intended. And like what you said, peace. It's all, when you live a peaceful life, peace is life. So it's all about keeping things alive and bringing things to life, bringing new things to life, which is what gardening is all about, and then when things die, using the things that are dying or dead to bring new life from that. So it's kind of like, a phoenix rising through the ashes every time you're gardening. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going on and on.
I'm glad you're excited.
I am.
Can I add one thing about Jessica's?
Absolutely. Go
Yeah,
right
I
ahead.
mean, you did a beautiful job of talking about the many splendored thing that Jessica's is. And one other thing they do is use their market to sell prepared foods. And so Korean, shout out to Corinne's Conscious Cuisine. I'm sorry, I said your name wrong. Corinne's Conscious Cuisine. And she's a chef. She does really incredible, talk about high vibration foods.
Yes.
They're a little spendy, but they are really worth it. They do great things for your body. So shout out to Corinne also.
And there's another, I don't know if it's the same person who has the cordyceps.
Yeah, that's the mushrooms that you were talking about.
She has like a table where she sells cordyceps. So
yeah, Christine.
That's the same person. Oh,
Christine
I didn't know.
does the cordyceps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, so Christine and Corinne.
Christine. Okay.
Corinne's the chef. Christine does the cordyceps. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And I bought some cordyceps from her, and they were yummy. I just ate them right away. Like I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah. Well, they won't hurt you, but they're also very medicinal and powerful.
Yeah, they were very powerful, but they were great. I apparently needed them because my body was like going, yes, more. So yeah, definitely recommend trying things like that for your body. And there's a beautiful white dog that's just running around. I wish I could show you. I guess I could. Well, hold on a second. You can't really see him now. He's behind the bushes. Can you see him? He's behind the bush. He's hiding.
He's coming.
There he is.
Yeah, that's Bowie. He's named after David Bowie.
He's named after David Bowie. Yeah. And he's just a beautiful white dog that likes to wander around and I'll pan around and show you what it's like here. It's just very expansive and beautiful. And yeah, I'll take a shot of the sign too.
Something about that as you're doing that?
Sure.
Actually, this is a really good opportunity to say, probably a lot of the listeners are not connected with church. In fact, a lot of people are probably pretty alienated and would want to keep away. And this church has a lot of people who feel that way too. We have a lot of queer people who have been hurt by the church, and we're trying to be a community that has love and welcomes. And so even if you don't ever go in our building, we would love to have you come and just check out this campus and enjoy being here. So this is on Ashton, east of Honore, Covenant Mennonite Fellowship. And if you're ever down this way, just come hang out. We won't bother you, I promise. Like that's about the best that a lot of churches can do, is just spend some time not bothering people. And we are good at that. So yeah, you're welcome here.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Quakers, because they were like that too. If you wanted to go in and spend some time alone with your thoughts, or you just went in and did it, and nobody had to talk to each other. There were no sermons or, anything like that. You just went in and experienced the energy of it, which was really pretty good. So yeah, awesome. I've had some good experiences with people like, from that group, from the Quakers, from the Mennonites, just to fill people in a little bit. I've had experience with the Mennonites for a long time, because we lived in eastern Pennsylvania, and my daughters went to a Mennonite school and a Mennonite high school, Christopher Dock Mennonite High School. And it was actually a really great experience for both of them. They both are thankful and grateful that I sent them there. They say that to me all the time. And it was because they learned so much about life skills. Like they taught them how to do things that you need to do every day, and just survival skills too. Like they know how to build a yurt. My older daughter knows how to shoot a longbow or short bow, whatever those are. She knows how to do all these things because, it's part of living out in the wilderness. And, how are you going to eat? How are you going to, they learned how to start a fire by themselves. They learned how to propagate. And my older daughter is a gardener, and so Sabbath gardening isn't just about gardening. There's more to it than that. Can you let us know what that's about?
Yeah. So my dream is to sort of rediscover indigeneity. I believe that especially the Hebrew scriptures actually have some memory of when they were indigenous. And so especially the Sabbath code, it's called Sabbath gardening because the Sabbath code has all sorts of rules about how do we dwell in the land. And so the dream is not just to do a garden, it's to get a group of people to rediscover our relationship with the land. And so we try to do discernment together where we don't just have a farmer decide what we're going to do with the land. I am setting this up so a group of people can discern together, what do we want to do with the food, exactly what we want to plant, and have that be a group discernment thing. And over time, my experience as a farmer was I developed a relationship with land. And I've heard a lot of farmers talk about that.
Yes.
Even conventional farmers, even people you would never think. When I meet farmers, Mennonite conventional farmers, I can talk about our relationship with land.
Yeah.
So there's something that transcends the limits of our society, because I can tell you get this.
Oh, yeah.
There's an awful lot of people, but it's unusual in our society to talk about my relationship with the land.
Right. Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so this ultimately is an attempt to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
To create a space where not just individuals, but small groups of people develop a relationship with land.
Yes.
And so that's what it's really about.
Yes, let's normalize that, because that should be the way it is. And we're just so disconnected, I feel like, with food, with what we're putting into our bodies, you know? And so it used to be something that we thought about every day because, not just what are we going to have for lunch, but we were more conscious about it, about our choices. We were more about we are growing this. And we're connected to it through the growth of it, and I don't know, I don't want to go on, but yes. So follow-up question, are you doing this anywhere else?
Yeah. So I was in seminary from 2019 to 2023, so I'm kind of doing a second career here. And when I was in northern Indiana, I developed a relationship with folks who run a retreat center in southwest Michigan, right across the state line from Indiana. And that place is called the Hermitage. It's historically run by Mennonites. It's kind of like a Mennonite/contemplative retreat. And they have a kitchen garden where they produce a lot of food to be cooked, and then they eat together in silence. There'll be anywhere from 2 to 20 people there, and every meal they eat together in silence. So it's a really profound place.
That's cool.
It's been very formative for me, and it's wonderful to get to give back. And so I have a more developed model than what I'm doing here, and that retreat center is doing the full version of it. So I'm going to have a website and social media up soon that will show that. But it's the 7-part model. But what we're doing there especially is partnering with the kitchen to say, okay, what are we going to cook? What do we want to preserve? How do we grow that in the most helpful way to the kitchen?
Right.
And overcoming the divide between the kitchen and the people who run the land is also something I'm passionate about. Because usually the kitchen thinks everything should center around it.
Yeah.
And the land people think everything should center around them. Look, be grateful we're growing you zucchini or whatever. And so we've overcome that typical divide.
Yeah.
It's also a masculine-feminine divide that often happens.
Makes sense.
And so Sabbath gardening is also an attempt to help heal that.
Wow.
And we're doing that on the land up at the Hermitage. So people should check that out. I have an intern from Ringling. I'm very excited about that. And she's making some social media and a web page right now.
Great.
And we'll be up with that.
Definitely need to
early fall.
Promote that. And what's it called? The Hermitage?
Yeah, the Hermitage Retreat Center is the site, but it's going to be Sabbath gardening.
Sabbath gardening at the Hermitage.
Social media.
Right. Okay, well that is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. And I will definitely, we should probably do a part 2.
Yeah.
When that happens, and then we can show them.
Yeah.
So that would be, I think, a great idea. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this, and tune in for more. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if this speaks to you in any way. I would love to hear more, and I know that you really got a good look at a beautiful beautiful farm and a beautiful garden, and how things can be. So there's some hope. So I'm not about hopium, but I am about hope. And about peace, and about love. So
Can I say one thing about that?
Sure.
So because we all are sort of craving hope these days.
Yes.
And I appreciate what you're saying.
Mm.
From my perspective as a Christian minister, I try to do something very similar to what you were just talking about. I think in terms of good news.
Yeah.
We live in a time of bad news. How do we have the good news that we need?
Yeah.
It's provisional, it's pragmatic. It's not like we get the answers, but how do we have the good news that we need? And this is an attempt to have some good news.
Yes, it's a step in the right direction, in a hopeful direction, and one that brings life, and that's what it's all about. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time on Potentials. Ciao for now.